Okay, well, welcome to Italy.
Buongiorno. I still have been living here for 3 years. We joke that that's the hardest words to say. No one says ciao though, so salve.
But you can say
everybody.
ciao for open. Oh, right. Nobody says ciao. Yeah, salve.
Anyway, we digress. Welcome to
Wouldn't
the
look as good on a
episode
hat, salve.
No, would not. We are going to talk about Milan, Cortina, Corvara, the Dolomites, Alto Adige, Trentino area, and all the places that you should be going while you are in town. I'm assuming that you're not going to go to all these areas if you're in town for the Olympics, because the Olympics is the most spread out in history. But if you're touching on any one of these areas, then this gives you like the places that we would go, eat, stay, taste, drink, spa.
Experience. Yeah.
Do the
Yeah.
things.
I mean, bottom line, you're coming for the Olympics. We got you covered. It's a great lesson.
Or Salone. Or is it good for Salone?
Yes.
You're coming.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's you.
And let us know.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
Hope you enjoy.
Enjoy. Hey everyone, it's Chris.
And Kirsten.
Welcome to Good Thinking Weekly, the podcast where we discuss the best of the best in brands, marketing, and culture.
Thousands of people, top execs from the likes of Complex, Klaviyo, Walmart, Wall Street Journal, and LVMH tune in every single week.
We run a creative consultancy in GoodCo, so we know what it takes to build a good brand.
Subscribe on YouTube, your favorite podcast app, and Good Thinking on Substack for more.
All right, let's dive in.
Welcome back to your regularly scheduled podcast. Good thinking.
Nothing that is 0% regularly scheduled.
Right.
We show up and we talk to you all about things that we want to talk to you about. And
today's a perfect example of that. And I'm so happy to be in my own home and not freezing my ass off in Chicago with you. But this is about the Olympics. We know so many of you are heading out to Milan, Cortina, all of the places. And we have recently been and have kind of our personal go-tos to share, as well as
brand takeaways,
the Amigo article. I mean, there's a lot to dig into here.
Yeah. So for context, because I think a lot of people actually don't know this about me, although I feel like I'm constantly telling people in the newsletter in real life, but I actually live in Italy. So if that's news to you, welcome to the news. I live up near the base of the Dolomites and spend a whole lot of time in Milan and spend a decent amount of time in the Dolomites and the surrounding areas, which is I think one of the things to talk about before we kind of go over this list is just if you are coming for the Olympics and if you're coming for Salone and you're just staying in Milan, this will also be good for you. But if you're coming for the Olympics, I just cannot impress upon you the breadth of distance between these venues. To say that you're going to go to the Olympics and know that you're going to go from Milan to various locations in the Dolomites is quite honestly insanity. And there's also the closing ceremony, I think, is going to be in Verona. There's other locations in the Dolomites that we didn't go to that are actually closer to me, where there's the ski jumping and everything. This is a very vast area to cover. So we're going to talk about a lot of places very quickly, but kind of the best of what we think is interesting in the area. And I would say that it's not just for people who are coming for the Olympics. If you're coming and touring around the Dolomites, this one's going to be good for you too.
Yeah. And same thing with Milan. This is our Milan list. And, we've been there a lot. And there's some really amazing experiences there, whether it's retail, food, all the things. All right. Should we get into it?
Let's do it. You gonna read them off? Because I put you on full screen so I can just look at your face.
I'm in.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to start with Milan. We're going to do it kind of by category, but as you'll see, as always, kind of all of the categories of the letter will come up: culture, food and bev, sport, obviously, kind of all of the parts and pieces. But we're going to do it by area because I think that's most helpful for people. Okay, so starting in Milan, Yappa was an amazing experience. You want to give a little?
Yeah. So talk about full stop, just delicious food. If you take nothing away from this podcast, go eat there. But I think I think it's really indicative. And if you spend a lot of time in New York and LA, this type of restaurant will be commonplace to you, but they did it in a kind of a unique way. But it's just very, very experiential dining without being cheesy experiential dining, it's not a set course menu, but You've got this grill over here. It's Japanese, just so we're clear. A Japanese like kind of grill. But then they also had like this Mexican infusion thing, which, fusion for me is a no-no, but this is fucking delicious. And I'll try not to swear a lot on this podcast because I've gotten some
Good luck.
comments about that. But yeah, really delicious food, incredible cocktail program. They've done it all right in terms of like you come in, you're sitting there, you're watching the guy make your cocktails, and then you go over and you can see and watch like everybody grilling your food, and they're making everything like table side. It's just delicious. Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, this place is really like, I think this is really special. I don't think it's as commonplace as one might think. Like they have, when you go in, they have a bar in and of itself where you're just watching the rad dudes like create these like absolutely delicious, but also like super interesting. It's got the right ice cube. It's in the right glass. It's the right color. It's the right mix. They're excited doing it. It's super experiential in them doing it. And then you have this amazing cocktail in addition to the food. Yeah.
Yeah. And I will say that as Yappa is an interesting brand because they do a ton of like kind of experiences with other brands and other restaurants. So they'll have other bars from different cities come in and do like a special cocktail program. Or for Salone last year, they closed their entire restaurant. It was absolutely devastating to me because I had planned to be there. And they did like a special, like a brand hired them and they did like all of these like dinners for them. And like it was like, so they're really like, if you're looking for a brand or restaurant to work with in Milan, I think they're a really interesting one. They're super connected in the chef space. They're super connected in the design and wellness, like in the design, like cool girls, like whatever, cool girls and guys space. That's what they call them right now. Yeah, I really love this brand. So go find them.
I mean, I think it's a great call. And we didn't even get into the uniforms were amazing. That just like they had all kind of different personalities and everybody was lovely. It was just a rad experience all the way around for sure. Like this would be one of my top to visit.
Yes.
Okay. And then our favorite wine bar, I don't know if I'm going to say this right, Palinuro Bar. It really just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
I think it's Palinuro Bar, but I'm not sure, it doesn't matter. So I would classify this place as like I texted my husband from having a glass of wine there once, and I was just like, this is the type of place that when you come here, you're just like, I just want this experience over and over and over again. Like it's just that type of bar. And what I think they're doing right are a number of things. They work with local producers. But like they do natural wines, but it's not like natural wines, by the way, I think are really on their way out. But what's not on their way on its way out is kind of really thoughtful curation of your wine menu. And I think this place does that well. They do limited edition bottles with local wineries, and obviously Italy has amazing like wineries to work with, so no shortage of things. But they make their own. They sell different ones. Like they have, like you'll come in. We tried to get a bottle of something we had last time, and they were like, "Yeah, no, like that was limited edition." And like I think it just makes it feel like you just want to go in there and go back and have like a different experience every time. They have this, like the decor is really cool. The lighting is really nice. Like they have a DJ set up in the front. They have this really bizarre looking logo that I just adore. Of this like,
yes, they do.
Kind of looks like a wine bottle meets a sausage dog, I would say. And
I'd go more sausage dog.
You don't really know what you're looking at, but it will stay with you forever. And yeah, and then the food is actually really delicious. Really delicious. Like, I mean, I will say you're going to hear us say the word delicious a lot because it's Italy and we've curated the living daylights out of this too. So it is delicious, but really good food.
For sure. I mean, I love this place because it feels like, somewhat of like a typical wine bar until you kind of get in and talk to the people and see it and then really experience the wine and how thoughtful it is. Like we went in with very particular, like, do you have a chilled wine that does this? Da, 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 da? And they were like, yes, here's 3 of them that you can try. And it's just an experience all the way through. Whereas it could just, in the States, it could just be a typical wine bar without kind of carrying through that level of experience. And every time we've been there, I think we find that.
Yeah. I will also like add in the show notes, like there's There's a couple of other wine bars, like Paradiso is really great. And then there's another one that begins with a Z that's on my Amigo. So I will link to it. That is right across from Palino Newer Bar. That's like a very different vibe, like much more chill. But yeah, go get your wine on.
No shortage of wine bars on our list in Italy. Okay, wait and see. This place was really interesting.
This was like one of your favorite places, I think. Like you really, really loved it.
It's
here.
just because it catches you by surprise. It's different than what you think it is. And I love that. And they've been doing it a long time and the people were delightful.
Yeah. So Wait and See is I would say it reads like vintage, but is not
100%.
vintage. Like
100%.
it reads like a vintage store, but because of the way it's curated. And I think to me, like my takeaway for a brand is that the way that they merchandise that store makes the clothes feel so much more premium, so much more interesting. You feel like you're on this discovery adventure like you would be in a vintage store, except that they actually know where all the clothes are. So you can be like, I'm looking for this, and they can
might
find it for you. and they might fit you, and they have it in a variety of sizes. So that's really helpful. But it just is a testament to me to merchandising, because it's like that store feels the way it feels because it's merchandised well.
Yes. And uniquely.
Unique product, like really interesting small brands, like very unique. And it's across the street from a new, like kind of cool girl, like Milan coat brand that's kind of on the way up. That they just opened a flagship across the street. Yeah. I mean, it's not my personal aesthetic, but it is something that is kind of growing and on the radar of people here. So,
yeah,
there's stuff there. I think the other one that we should talk about that's kind of so when we did a lot of this because we were writing an article for Amigo that we will link to. And if you don't know what Amigo is a travel app. I've mentioned it a gazillion times, but I know that not everyone is. Some people are new here. I get it. It's a travel app that's really well curated, definitely skews higher end, but like in a good way, and a great place to find like very good food, excellent hotels, and great spa and like beauty experiences. If that's like anything
you're going to find on Amigo is going to be good. That's what I like about it.
That's what I love about it. And I will say the other thing that I love about it is that you can follow people like myself, or like, Sam Koulis or whoever. Like I follow a lot of photographers because I find that photographers like get in, get out of cities, and they're like, hey, like this is the best. Like this is what's worth, like they're going all over the place and they just have great taste and like know all the cool people there. So I follow a ton of photographers on there. But there's also like Kelly Worslow's on there, like other people who have really interesting taste. And so you can follow different people and get there, like as they add in different cities and stuff, you can get it. So that's really cool.
Yep. All right. Our last in Milan, 100% don't miss. I would book now so that your skin looks amazing for the Olympics. Antonia.
Yes. And I think we have to also cover Peck, but like, let me just explain Antonia to you. Antonia will change your face with
100%.
no cosmetic, like surgery required. She does facial massage. So it's like a lot of like buccal massage, but it's bigger than buccal. Like I feel like buccal is so like just your mouth, but she's also doing like other areas, and she does like really interesting scalp stuff. She does like your eyes in a really interesting way. Like literally, like she did one eye for me, and then showed me a picture of it, and it's like here was my eye, and it was like more open, more lifted. I was like, it's crazy. She's just an incredible human, and you would just love her. And her studio is like not to be found, like it's really hard to find. But once you go in, it's like a sanctuary. It's really
This is one of those you have to know to know. And she's just a beautiful human, and this experience will change your life. 100%.
Yeah, and I think she speaks like to I think she speaks to a bunch of different beauty trends, I would say. Like I think she does a lot with like Chinese medicine. Like she was the one who told me that I needed to, like she literally touched my face and she was like, you need to stop eating cold foods like immediately. Please stop eating cold foods. Stop eating uncooked vegetables. And I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah, your lymph is terrible. And this is why. And it has changed, like, I mean, truly, like, it's changed my life, like just cooking vegetables. And it's because of her. So
there you go.
But that is a trend. Like that if you watched the podcast last week, we talked about it with Kennedy. It's like Chinese medicine and that kind of wisdom is really, it's not making a comeback. It's always been around, but I think it's mainstreaming in a way that you're going to
Oh,
see
it's
in a big way
growing
this year.
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. And you are a Chinese medicine magnet of, yes, for sure.
I
All
do
the people that tell you
attract.
the things. You do,
I attract that. Like, there's something about me that people are like, this girl wants to know some Chinese medicine. And I attract
yes,
some really amazing people because of it.
right.
And then the
Okay.
last place that I would say is a must is Peck. Because Peck is kind of, to me, like it's like the Dean and DeLuca, but so much cooler than Dean and
So much better.
DeLuca.
But it was
Like, I can't,
amazing.
just really
Like
incredible.
in Italy, but actually in Italy. And
But better. I mean, they stamp. I can't describe to you how this isn't, like, when I'm going to describe it, you're going to say, this isn't cool. And then when you're going to see it, you're like, this is
So cool.
rad. They stamp their, like, patés with their brand logo, and it just looks so rad. And they have it repeating, and it looks kind of like gold bars. And the packaging,
Yeah.
so they do this yellow thing, which I think is, again, like a testament to, like, good pack. Because when you go in there, especially at the holidays, and you're seeing all of these beautiful yellow boxes, like, you cannot help yourself. Like, I
For sure.
must have walked out of there spending like $300 on chocolate, and I didn't need to do that.
Right. But they were also delicious. Like my mom loved. My kids loved
High
what I
quality.
brought back. And it was just a great experience. And it's a great brand that has been around forever, but yet is still has that yellow pop, is still like relevant, but is still very, very much heritage. And that's what makes it. But the energy of that place, as soon as you walk in, and what felt kind of so relevant and so modern, but it's really rooted in heritage, like this is for sure, like you have to go.
If you're a legacy brand and you want to understand how to come into relevance, like in a way that doesn't lose the actual legacy piece that you want to keep, like this is a really great brand to look at. It's also a great brand to look at in terms of like they have like, a restaurant up top, a wine bar over here, like, like there's a cellar, like an incredible wine cellar downstairs. Like they kind of have everything. And what is a real testament is that people really do shop there. Like it's not for tourists.
The locals. Yes.
The locals
A
are
lot of locals.
literally buying their goods
Stamped meat, and it's amazing. Okay.
Yes. All right. We're moving on. Geographically.
Yeah, let's do it. We'll have some more honorable mentions that we'll include.
Oh, yeah, like my favorite coffee shop, Lost or Lost.
I mean, there's
I'm not
so
sure.
many great places.
Yeah,
there's so many great
will
places.
well, actually, just read the Amigo article for the entire list. But yeah, it's really good.
Okay, so we're moving on to Cortina, which is kind of the main place of where the Olympics are happening, or one of the main places.
Yes.
And we were just going for a day trip because, again, this I think speaks to geography of what you were talking about earlier. We were just going to pop by for a day trip. Took the train pretty early morning. We were coming back that night, but holy fuck, it's far. So after the train to the winding roads, we decided we need to stay the night, which was a wise decision.
Yes. So a couple of notes. There are events in Milan, like a lot of the ice events will be in Milan, and they're not actually in Milan. They're outside of Milan. So they're at a convention center. So just word to the wise. But then when you go, you're going to go up on the train, right? And you're going to have some choices. You're going to get off at Bolzano or you're going to get off at Brenner. And neither is close. Like neither is close. And one, if you get off at Bolzano, like you're going to have the windiest, most beautiful drive you've ever seen, but you're going to be like, just had to close my eyes to make it through. Like
it was
so
beautiful.
Windy. And I couldn't even open my eyes.
No, she couldn't. And
And if you go Brenner, it's much less picturesque, but slightly more efficient. But so you're going to find yourself in a tiny town called Cortina. And that is where the majority of the ski is, but not the ski jump, and a few other events are not going to be in that town. And let me tell you, there is no shortage of places to stay in Cortina, but the entire town feels like it's like a matchbox. Like it is not the San Moritz of the Italian Alps, but it is.
Right.
But it's
right.
just
but very
not
cute, very quaint, very lovely.
Adorable.
But like we found some good spots.
Yes. So top spots, I would say, in my mind, were the first restaurant that we went to. What was that one called?
Alamo? I should not be trying to speak Italian on this podcast or really any other.
Well, the interesting
a la
thing about
Mo.
Cortina is that when you're up in Cortina, you're actually in German speaking. Like around there, you're speaking German and Italian up there.
My
So,
people.
and many of the names are actually just more of an indigenous language that,
Okay,
like,
that's what this sound. That I'll buy it with this.
yeah.
Then I'm gonna go with
So,
a la Mo.
Alamo. We'll call it that.
Get it?
Yes. Delicious is the word of the week.
Ding! Just play a drinking game every time we say delicious. Just
Yeah, like Alpine. I would say it's Alpine, like refined Alpine food. Would you call it that?
yeah, I think that's a good modern Alpine with a modern twist. Yeah, the
Yeah.
interiors were rad. The food was delicious. Like really,
They
really, but it was perfect because it was cold. It wasn't as cold as Chicago, but it was cold. So like you actually want that type of food. Yeah.
Yeah. And I would put this down here for just like, this was probably the most interesting food that we ate while we were there. There are some other really interesting places that just opened, like, as the season has continued, that I would love to check out. One in particular that I can drop in the newsletter when I can't remember the name of it. But I would say my takeaway from a brand perspective for this one is this is where I would host an event. Like the best space for like having a large influencer dinner, I would say that we saw. For sure. There are some very cool, like, unless you're going to go up on a mountainside and do like that style of event, which I highly encourage. And like, you should look at all the like examples that I've given over the last few weeks, that every time I see one, I'm like, this is who you need to talk to make a snow bench. If you need a snow bench or a snow table, there are no shortage of those. But if you want an event in a building, this is where I would do it.
Yeah. It was just a great mix of kind of, again, the uniforms, the people that were there, the vibe. Like a movie could have been filmed there.
Yes. Yeah. And super picturesque balcony and views.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then in terms of hotels, we have kind of two on the list. We have how do you say it?
Hotel de Len. Yeah.
Hotel de Len. And then there was Ancora Hotel, right?
Yes.
And the Ancora Hotel, yeah. So the Ancora Hotel is a historic hotel, 5 stars, right next to the Louis Vuitton, which like
we got to talk about Vuitton.
Yes, we have to talk about that in a second. But it's right above the Louis Vuitton and the Loro Piana, so it gives you like a sense of like the vibe of it. And it recently was renovated, and it's just very bougie and lovely and like high end, and really good cocktails in the bar if you're interested in that kind of thing. But in terms of actual hotels that I would be inspired to stay in, I would stay at Hotel de Len. Hotel de Len is a 4. They call it a 4.5 star when you're there, whatever that means. They got to figure that part out. Because honestly, like the rooms were lovely.
Lovely.
Much more modern than any other hotel that you're going to stay in.
For sure.
And what was truly exceptional, and I think this speaks to kind of a hospitality trend, like in my mind, was that they did not take like any aspect of their food and beverage program for granted. So we ordered tea. It was like a show.
It was amazing.
It was amazing, but it didn't feel like cheesy. It felt like incredible, like you're having the best tea of your life. They actually have a tea bar there, which was really nice in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
But they brought this machine that was sort of like it almost looked like like pour over coffee drip machine, like kind of thing, but it was with tea. And it was really
a mix between a crack pipe and pour over coffee.
Yes. I mean, it definitely looked like a bong. Like there were a lot of things that were going on with it, but it was very cool and interesting. And then, in very true spectacular fashion, they had an incredible breakfast, but it wasn't like a buffet cheesy sort of situation. They're literally like bringing out like, here's all the meats that we have today, and like here's all the cheeses that we have today, and here's all the handmade butters. And like, to me, that speaks to kind of what people expect in hospitality now, like in terms of it's no longer like in my mind, like I don't go to hotels. This is going to make me sound like a certain type of person, but I don't go to hotels that just have like an average like continental breakfast. Like, not signing up.
No, you don't.
No.
Yeah, agreed. And this, the breakfast looked delicious, and it was just like
she said, look, because she doesn't eat in the morning. So just everybody, like, it was delicious. it didn't just look delicious, it was delicious.
No hate mail for intermittent fasting, okay, people? But it was so easy for them. It wasn't like they weren't making a big deal of it. It was just part of who they are and the way that they delivered it and the experience throughout their entire, the way that they delivered the tea to the room. Like they were delightful in every aspect of that. And I think this breakfast just speaks to it. Like and it wasn't just like, here's a basket of bread. Here's a basket of bread and here are the cheeses and here's all of the meats and here's all of the jam and like all of the parts and pieces. But it was just really easy. It wasn't fussy. And that felt great.
No, yeah, and I think that speaks to kind of like I think that the Ancora was a very beautiful renovation, but it still felt like a hotel stuck in a certain era of time for a certain type of person. And I think that
Yes.
there's a modernization, like for lack of a better word, that like alongside luxury. I think and this is definitely heading in that direction.
I think that's a great point. And I think the things that stuck out to us, and I think probably the things that often do are that mix. And I think Cortina typically has kind of the older school heritage and beautifully done. It's that Laura Piana customer. But I think the things that are becoming more relevant and doing it in an interesting way, and even the experiences that we saw, I think really speak to that. And that's where things are going. And that was kind of the magic combination.
Yes. Which
Okay,
brings
should we
us
speak to Viton or honorable mentions or move on to the Dolomites?
Okay, well, we can't ignore Vuitton. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot going on. Like brands were doing like Todd, was it
Schneider?
Todd's? Todd Schneider?
Oh, Todd's. No, it was not Todd
Todd's.
Schneider. It was Todd's, the shoes.
Todd's had like really good,
It was impressive, truly.
visual merchandising happening on the street where they had like these cool, I saw it also in the Milan airport. They had the same visual merchandising in their windows there. So it's obviously like kind of their visual merchandising strategy for the Olympic season, which makes sense. So it wasn't a one-off.
Yeah.
But it was really well done where they had all these branded skis outside and then they had like a branded gondola, but like there were other branded gondolas, but for some reason theirs felt like better. There was a Zinn branded gondola, which we should talk about.
Right. But I think the Todd's thing felt really, really special and definitely like wasn't on my bingo card to be like, oh yeah, their merchandising was great. And the fact that they did it then consistently throughout, like there were a lot of other brands. There was the Zinn, there's Ferrari, there was Loro Piana, a lot of other brands that were leaning into kind of the heritage and the typical way that they do it. And this seemed to do it in a way that felt really good. Obviously it caught our eye and it's still really, really focused on the product.
Yeah. It didn't feel like swish, if that makes sense to you. Like, I think like when I saw
Tell me more.
the Ferrari one was like slick beyond belief. It was like trying to be so swish. If like, I don't know how to like describe it. Like, but it was just like, we're going to be like slick and cool. And it was like, because you're trying to be slick and cool, you're like the complete opposite of slick and cool.
Yes.
And it was, I mean, as brand activations go, like I would not have been happy if I were Ferrari.
Which takes us to Vuitton.
Right. Bringing it full circle back to Vuitton. So Vuitton, we're pulling up at the Ancora Hotel. We're minding our own business, admiring the gigantic Loro Piana and the like sort of underneath the hotel. It's hard to describe, but the road kind of changes the elevation. And you pull up and there's Louis Vuitton. And then above the Louis Vuitton sign is just a sign that says Vuitton in slanted
very large
lettering.
Letters.
Very large letters. I mean, it's the opposite of quiet luxury, I would say.
It was moving more into the Ferrari aspect than it was necessarily. Yes, swish.
It was very swish.
Yes.
So
100%.
I don't know if that's like their sports line. We did zero investigating to find out.
We have questions, so if you have answers, let us know.
But it wasn't the best.
Yes.
They do other things extremely well, but that wasn't it.
They sure do. Any other great mentions?
I mean, there was a great like store there that had like very interesting like ski stuff. Like if you wanted to be kind of a boho snow bunny, like we got Rex. So that's all in the article, obviously.
Yep.
But I think we should move on to Amman.
Great. Dolomites.
Do you agree?
Okay. Yes, I do. So this hotel had, I think we were day 1 or day 2 of it opening.
It was literally the second day it was open.
And so we took this beautiful ride from Cortina
of which I saw
to
0 because I couldn't.
right.
It was
I
so
mean, it
windy.
was stunning. It was absolutely stunning,
I
winding
saw the videos.
all the way through going through ski. I mean, it was just really, really it was sunny day. It was absolutely beautiful. And then we arrive at this gorgeous hotel.
Yeah. So, as one would expect, like the Dolomites are fairly extensive. Like it's like, much like the French Alps. And so, like, you can go from one ski area to another ski area, and they're not necessarily all connected. Like, you have to drive. This one is closer to Corvara. There's another really amazing one called Ortizay. Like, there's like, I mean, dozens of places for you to go if you're doing this. But Corvara is like, this Aman, like you pull up, and this is one of the biggest Amans in the world, I believe, right now. Like they're opening a
Mhm.
bunch. So I don't know how long that kind of, standing it will have, but it's a very large one. It's done really, really well. You come in, and it just has this like serenity to being in, like, which is, I believe, typical of the brand, but like, and it just has this moment of like you've just come out and you're just like, you'd think that you would be more relaxed outside in the mountains because it's just so stunning, and then you walk in there and you're like,
Right. But they do such a good job of it's serenity is a great word, but it's also modern. It's also like it's a lot of parts and pieces. And I think that's what was so interesting to me is it's this blend of things that are oftentimes hard to do all together. Whereas they really nailed it within how serene it is, how kind of open everybody was, and like it just felt very like a wonderful kind of very friendly place to be, but still very, very high end, still very, very much
yeah.
luxury and modern at the same time.
Yeah. And I think the things they're getting right, like, so we went down to the spa and, did some
Obviously.
reconnaissance for you all. And,
Hard
it
job.
was it was luxury spa on a level that I've never been to a spa where I have a private bathroom, a private changing room, like a private balcony, all to my like one treatment room. That was like, it really raised the bar for me. Like I was like, this is great. I won't be doing it any different from now on. But it was just like
Right,
really well done.
the
The
massage beds
massage
were like,
beds,
how is
they could
everybody
do
else not
things
figuring this
that,
out?
yeah, do things that massage beds I didn't know could do. But, like, I will say that, like, one of the things that's interesting about their spa program is that they, like, they're obviously catering, like, you can get your hair done, you can do all that. They have that, like, kind of typical, like, you're on vacation, like, and you need kind of a spa thing, but then they really did have, like, some very unique spa offerings, which to me is, like, I think there's a sign of, like, an incredibly good hotel when it's, like, it's not just like, "Oh, we have a lymphatic massage, and we have this and like that." It's like, "Okay, we have this Alpine thing, we have this thing." It's, like, really bespoke to the area,
Mhm,
and they hit the nail on the head with all of those things. The other thing that I thought was very interesting was the gym.
mhm.
The gym was indicative of where gyms, like, the expectation of gym in the last 3 years, huge
Yeah,
difference to what your expectation of a hotel gym is, right? Like, you think hotel gym and you think, "No, no, no, a treadmill and, like, some hand weights."
right.
They
What you
had,
have
like,
to have. Yeah, not an experience.
full on strength, like, protocols. They had, like, a Theragun bar. They had, um hyper ice,
Booties.
yeah, boots. They had all the things, like all the amenities of, like where sport is going, or a
Right.
workout is going.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was very much, I think, about not checking the boxes about, like, driving you towards where things are going versus kind of just doing what they needed to do. They had
Yeah,
wasn't there a kids area or play area, like, they just it was thought through across the board, the entire experience.
yeah. Although, I just wanna say that as food and beverage programs go, we were not impressed with the restaurant. The food was good at the bar, but the
Yeah,
restaurant felt like a different
yes.
experience.
The restaurant felt like a not great, like a hotel, like, not a great hotel restaurant. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But where we ate
like,
was lovely, and the view was amazing, and
so I
the
would,
Aperol was
if you go,
delicious.
like, go and drink a drink, like, overlooking, they have this incredible view of the, like, snowy trees, and it's like, that's the spot. Eat there. The food is quite good in that room, and maybe
Yes.
the food is great in the other room, and talk to Harry, who is the general
Harry,
manager,
yeah.
who
Harry
is
was amazing.
a delight.
Yes. Lovely, lovely. Okay, moving on.
What else?
Ranzelhoff?
Yes, Kranzelhof is a place that I didn't get to take you to. I'll just touch on it briefly, but it's just like one of those places that, like, if you're in the area, like, I just love this space. It like literally looks like a shack, but it's a wine tasting place, and you can take these beautiful like tours of these gardens that are super weird and like artsy. And then in the back, there's a great restaurant. So I put it on my Amigo list, but we didn't have a chance to go there because it was out of the way. But the next one on the list, I think, is worth discussing too, right?
Yeah, for sure. Alder Lodge. Amazing.
Adler.
Well,
Alder? I thought it was Adler. Did I spell it wrong?
you
On
did
our
spell it
list, I
wrong, but
probably
or it's my
on our list.
dyslexia, but yeah.
Oh, it's the Adler. Incredible, all inclusive. And when I
You can't
say
start with
all
all
inclusive,
inclusive. You can't start with
I
all inclusive.
know, but like I try to explain this to people like again, like all inclusive brings up like, and I think this speaks again to kind of like where things are going with hotel trends, and like all inclusive used to be kind of like, oh, like it's all inclusive and that was cool, right? Like Club Meds and like all of these things. Club Med was big in its moment.
Yeah, I mean before you were born. But I feel like all inclusive means that there was a bar of like it's not going to get higher than this. Like this is as good as
Right.
the all inclusive is going to get. And
This is
that's
like
why beyond.
this is like top tier, like
In
on
all the
every
ways.
level. Food,
Yes.
drinks, incredible spa with very localized treatments. If you want to go lay
Yes.
in a bed of hay that's floating on a bed of water, be covered by a blanket and have somebody massage your head, this is the place to go.
This is amazing.
Great sauna experience, great cold plunge, like all of
Yeah.
the kind of
A wet
contrast
sauna, which is
therapy
amazing.
trends.
Yeah.
Yes, very, very good. And I will say, like, so not on my list was a very famous hotel in this area called Le Fay, which also has a lot of very nice things. And I would say that one thing that why I didn't include it on this list is that it is quite a dated experience. And so for me, like, that's a no-go. But this is a more modern, refreshing version. And you should, if you are ready to splurge, get a cabin with a private pool.
Yeah.
But if not,
amazing.
enjoy the rooms.
Yeah, and I think that speaks to the list in general, and I think where things are headed as far as like really making sure it's that balance. Like, yes, luxury, yes, high end, yes, an amazing experience, but also like let's make it modern because the other doesn't feel great.
Yeah, this is like modern Alpine. Like everything feels like very, very beautiful. And then I think last on the list is Proger, right? Is that what's next? Tell me.
Well, there's nothing on there's honorable mentions. Yeah. And then moving on to Alto Adige and Trentino.
Alto Adige and Trentino. So Trentino is where I live, the region I live in. But
We call it
Alto
Trento.
Adige is, well, Trentino is the region. Trento is the town. Povo is the village.
So confusing.
Get it right.
I need a map.
You do. All right, tell me what was on there. What did I say?
This is going to be fun. Proger et Sandry.
Yes, this was the wine place that we went to. So up in the
Delicious.
Dolomites.
And
yes.
I learned so much. An
Ding, ding, ding,
education.
ding. If you were playing your drinking game, now is the time. Yeah, so just because I don't know if everyone knows this. So we have a region that is very similar to Champagne. So same production style as Champagne, but obviously Champagne is a town a region in France. We have a region called we have Trento Dock over here, which is like only from our area. It's like very specifically to this area, and it's the same production style as Champagne. You don't find it outside of Italy very often because they just don't make that many bottles, and like we just drink them all, so they don't get to you.
But I learned so much. Like I didn't know about that, and so the bubble structure is very similar. I mean, this was an educational trip for me.
Yes.
The bubble structure was so similar, right?
Yeah.
And so that's part of the reason that it was so delicious. And then understanding the bubble structure of Prosecco, which is made after the fact.
Yeah, so Prosecco is added, bubbles added to wine, right? So Prosecco is a region also very near to here, but a little bit south down towards Venice. And when you make Prosecco, you add the bubbles after the fact. And so the bubbles are bigger and less refined than a champagne. So this is like champagne style production, and it's called Trento Dock. These people make what I would consider probably the best sparkling rosé, but they technically don't call it Trento Dock because they're very interesting. They have a production method that they don't. So Trento Dock is kind of like dock is added to things in Italy. I think probably everybody knows this if they're listening to this podcast, but in case they don't,
I didn't know.
If something is like official from Italy, so like Parmesan, like you would say like Parmesan Reggiano Dock. And DOC means that it's like a official, like from their cheese, right? So you can make Parmesan anywhere you want, but you can't make like Parmesan Reggiano, like
DOC. Got it.
DOC. So, but what that means is that, like in true Italian fashion, it comes with tons and tons of logistics and like, but also
A lot of
rules
red tape.
that don't necessarily make sense. And that red tape doesn't allow them to clean the grapes as much as these guys want to clean the grapes. So these guys use a special machine that they invented to clean their grapes to make sure that basically the runoff of, so they make their grapes organically, but they can't say it's organic because the runoff from other wineries might make it not organic, but they wash it off so that it's really, really delicious and tastes super fresh. And if you are in the wine industry, I'd go check out that machine because it's very cool.
Yeah, and because they've sold it to other people or other people are using it, like it's really some innovation there. But the main takeaway is really how delicious their wine is.
The wine is very delicious. They also have an incredible upstairs space that would be perfect for an influencer dinner. And
That'd
they
be
have a
great.
full restaurant. I would go. Invite me to your influencer dinner.
Right. And they have about 27 olive oils that we don't even have time to get into.
Yeah.
Of all the flavors.
And no, the vinegars. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Delicious.
Many flavors.
Which I actually heard on a podcast that vinegar is trending. 2026 food trend, vinegar. So maybe go there and have a look at.
You're welcome. Sea Hotel Ambach.
Oh
this
my
is a
God.
bingo game of mine.
Zay Hotel. I love how I'm correcting you on names. Like this is really a change of zone. But okay, this place is it kind of like, let's talk about like, okay, you just went to the Herman Miller Marigold Lodge, right? And in Michigan.
Yes, I did. And it was wonderful. Yes.
We reported live from there.
We did.
And so Zaybach Hotel is also a historical property, similar to that, but like a different style, like slightly later, like more towards the 60s, but in a really like late 50s, early 60s, I think. And it's just like, it's been beautifully restored. All the furnishings are original inside. It's really rad. Like you just feel like you're transported in time. And then you go in the rooms. The hotel rooms are very modern, but like of that style. So it's like all like plywood, like, and like really like raw plywood that's like oiled and everything is really fucking stunning. They have this beautiful pool, a great restaurant, a great spa. You can go out on the lake. Like if you're in this region and you like architecture, I would go there. If you're in this region and you like food and beverage, I would go there. If you're in this region and you like a spa, like just a very chill one, I would go there.
Noted. Booking there.
I didn't get to take you this time, but it was on the list.
Clearly,
it
I
was
need
a
to come
big
back.
list.
But I think it brings up something that's really important. I think, and this was true at Herman Miller as well. Just because it's kind of a different era, or it's about bringing it back in a way that shows the innovations at that time. And I think plywood really speaks to that in the way that it was used and is still kind of directing things today. That it's not like just being it picturesque, but really bringing it back in a true way. And I think doing that makes it modern.
Yeah. And I think when you're in this space, like, so the common spaces, right, have all of the cool, like really interesting furniture and you get to sit on everything. And like, you maybe haven't had a chance to sit on that furniture or that designer before. So that feels like a real experience, right? Like it's almost experiential light, like, because you're like, oh, like I'm sitting on one of these chairs that I love, But one of the things, but then when you get to the room, they took the innovation, like they took the concept, but they made it modern so that it feels like, oh, I'm staying at a really beautiful hotel and I'm not just kind of like in this dated room that feels like when you want it to be slick, it's slick, but it's slick in the right way,
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It's a great place. And I highly recommend taking the time to go there. And especially if you go in the summer, like go for a couple days.
Great.
Beautiful biking around there, hiking around there. It's great.
Amen. Love a good bike ride. Okay. And the last one, whose name I'm definitely going to screw up. Aloe Yes, that. Legadera?
Yeah. This is it's one of like, win tons of awards for their wine. This is a winery that you would like never find, oddly though. Like it would be like it's very off the beaten path and you show up and it's just like, again, it's a mix of like, they have this really historical wooden buildings that they've like restored and they look like of their time. And then they have like these modern additions that feel like they somehow like work really beautifully together. The wine is award winning. The food is a very small menu, but it's really delicious. modern bathrooms, because it's like,
Important.
you know, the modern and the not. But they also do a lot of, they are like, if you are interested in working with different chefs and local chefs and who's cool in the chefing world of the Dolomites and like this area, they do a ton of work with various like supper clubs and like cool like chef experiences. And they'd be the people to connect with. They would connect all the dots for you.
Love it. Love it. All right. That's all the places. A few honorable mentions that we'll include. Would love to hear places that we didn't include.
No, I mean, there's a gazillion places. Like Forestus, I didn't include. There's another San Luis. Like, there's all the places in Ortizay. Like, you know, the list goes on and on in this area. There was no way I could take you to every single
Well, but I want to hear
place.
from the people. I want to hear from the
Yeah.
people of what
Let
else
us know what you love.
they know about or check out.
Yes. And
But I think it's a good spot, good start.
And definitely drop some more Milan recs, because every time I go back to Milan, we're going to be there for Salone. So definitely let us know if you're going to be in town. We'd love to say hi or come to your events and see what you're doing. We're going to do a recap like we did last time. I'll include a link to it in the show notes for everybody. But yeah, I want all the latest and greatest.
Right. But I think hopefully this is setting you up for your Olympics experience. And I think there's a lot of key takeaways for brands. I think the mix of kind of taking something that's historic, whether it's a brand, experience, restaurant, hotel, and bringing it relevance today with modernity from that era, no brainer.
Yes. Yes. Italians do that in a masterful way, and it's worth studying. All right.
Yes.
As I say, ciao, ciao.
Ciao for now.
Yeah. That was it for this episode of Good Thinking. Don't forget to tune in next week.
If you found this valuable, subscribe on YouTube and your favorite podcast app.
And don't forget to read on Substack for even more insights.
And if you really liked it, drop us a heart. We'd love to hear from you.
Ciao. Until next time.